Listen, I think he's had a very difficult time in office. Obviously, first few years, he seemed, oh, I don't even know how to articulate it, but Nobel Peace Prize, it was a very different agenda. And despite the development that we've seen, skyscrapers all over Addis, the economy is not in good shape. They're in the middle of this IMF reform program, which I think was doing pretty well in terms of, lowering inflation, at least prior to the situation with the Strait of Hormuz. And then on top of that, you have all of these internal issues, not just Tigray, but Amhara and Oromia as well. How does the prime minister bring the country together? Because it's been many years now. Is it 7, 8 years? And it doesn't seem to be moving in the right direction. And again, for context, this is a country of 130 something million people. So it's the second most populous country in Africa. And what happens here affects the rest of the Horn and the continent as well to a certain degree.
Absolutely. I think Prime Minister Abe is an enigma to many of us, who have studied him. And I think you're right. I think that Ethiopia has an enormous potential, and has shown enormous potential in the past. And I think we can't ignore the massive development progress that Ethiopia has made, both in kind of the visible and tangible, the skyline of Addis and the road network that has been built. It is truly impressive. I was just in Ethiopia 2 weeks ago and saw for
Yeah.
myself. And it
I think they
changes
call it the
dramatically.
Dubai of Africa.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and it's clear that he has that ambition, right? Prime Minister Abiy has the ambition of making, Addis the kind of the pearl of the region and the continent. And how then do you square that with the internal fissures that have only grown? Because again, Prime Minister Abiy came into office with this, I think, very unique background of having a genealogical legacy, touching upon multi regions of the country. Right, he's got
Mhm.
Oromo parentage, he's got Amhara parentage. He served in the intelligence service.
Muslim and
Um,
Christian background both.
Exactly. And so, he was seen as having the potential to be this enormous bridge builder within the country. And I think, obviously, much of that was derailed by the war in Tigray. And the government response to the conflict in Tigray, the national dialogue, which was supposed to emerge from this to be a unifying process, never really got off the ground. And so I think he has missed opportunities to kind of be that bridge builder among the regions, that he promised to be, and that people wanted him to be. Can he go back to that after these elections? Will securing an additional term in office provide him the opportunity to do that? I'm frankly skeptical of that right now. But I
Will
don't
they
want to
be free and fair elections? That's a question on a lot of people's minds,
Well, it
obviously.
is. It is a question, and again, I think we have lost a lot of the mechanisms that we would have to
Yeah.
determine that. Right, you're not going to see the same kind of observation missions sent to Ethiopia. The AU will send an observation mission, and I can tell you right now that they're going to they're going to certify these elections as free and fair. You could write the press release today, because they sit in the center of Addis Ababa, and they benefit from that location, and so they're not going to bite the hand that feeds it in many ways, right? Just as throughout the Tigray War, you saw, I think, a very muted response from the African Union to that conflict, and so so I think Abiy largely has free reign right now. He obviously has a very powerful benefactor in the UAE. I think the UAE therefore has a responsibility not only to encourage development, but encourage stability in this region. And I think there's a real risk, that authorities in Abu Dhabi see opportunity in remaking the political maps and remaking alliances in this region in ways that are quite disruptive, especially to an older order like Egypt or like Turkey or like Saudi Arabia, which are seeking a more kind of stable approach to state authority in the region. With the Emirati approach, not that I'm passing judgment on that, but they have a very different approach from other middle powers in the region, and that creates a certain degree of tension. Abiy has clearly benefited from that, in the last few years. Whether that continues to work for him and for the region, I think is really unclear right now. But I would say that for the benefit of Africa, for the benefit of Ethiopia as a motor of growth for the broader Horn of Africa region, I think there really needs to be much more concerted effort around solving their sea access issue, right? And a much more open conversation among all interested actors in the Red Sea about how to enhance trade and development and investment for Ethiopia while not putting at risk Red Sea security through the introduction of new naval forces. This is a very delicate diplomatic conversation that needs to happen, and it's not happening. And I think as a result of that, the risk, the kind of the storm clouds of instability are going to continue to hang over Ethiopia and the broader Horn of Africa until someone steps forward to try to have that conversation in a very structured and organized way.